and welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today I'm going to be showcasing this Friendly Hello bundle. So you get the stamp set and the papers in the bundle, and this is from our brand new celebration catalogue. So you can get this only until the end of February, and you can choose it for free with a £90 purchase. So it's a really gorgeous bundle. So you get this big stamp set with the florals and the bird, and you've got Hello Friend, hope you have the best birthday, you have my love and support, and then you've got these papers. So this is a full paper pack, so you get 12 sheets of 12-inch by 12-inch paper, and so you get 2 of each of these designs. So we've got this one with the birds and this on the back. And we've got the pink flowers with the dots in the back. These flowers with the birds and this pattern in the back. Got these with this on the back. We've got these with this on the back. And we've got this one with this on the back. So it's a really lovely set. You can get it free with a £90 spend on anything on our website, and you'll find not only all the things that we've had from our annual catalogue, but some really gorgeous new things from our January to June catalogue on there. So I don't think you'll find it difficult to spend the £90 if you want to get this for free. So for my first card, I've got an A6 card blank made of thick basic white cardstock. So that measures 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 inches, scored and folded in half. Then I've got this piece of paper that is the same size as my card front, and that's from this coordinating paper pack. And then I've also got this. So I've used the second largest of these scallop rectangle stitch so sweetly dies. So you get 6 of these dies and these 4 shapes in the set. And I've cut that out of basic white cardstock. And then we're just going to stamp on this. So I'm going to stamp these in Memento black ink. So I'm going to stamp hope you have the best birthday at the bottom. And actually I'm just going to stamp these on my scrap paper first, because sometimes when you've got new photopolymer stamps, it's best to stamp them a few times first to make sure that they've got none of the oils from the manufacturing process still on them. So I'm happy with how that's stamping now, so let's pop that on my piece of card. And that's already stamping pretty nicely, so I'm going to stamp that straight on now. So then I'm going to use my cinnamon cider, my petal pink and my granny apple green stamping blends to colour this. So stamping blends are alcohol markers, and they've got a brush nib and a chisel nib. So I'm going to start off with doing the bird. And I think I might just add a little bit of the dark so saffron in the middle of those flowers as well. So there's our little panel, so we can just layer this up. So I'm just going to glue this onto the card front. And then I'm going to pop this panel on with some dimensionals. So then there's our first card finished. So then for my second card, I'm going to use the bird again as my central point. So let's just stamp that in the middle of the card. And then round the outside, I'm going to stamp some leaves. So I've done some in Granny Apple Green, and now I'm going to do some in black as well. And then I'm going to use this leaf to stamp in green as well. And let's go over that with black. And don't worry about lining these up, because the outline doesn't actually properly fit over the inside. It's all kind of like a bit abstract. So let's just fill in some of those gaps a bit with some more leaves. And then I'm going to colour this in the same colours I did the last one. So Granny Apple Green, Cinnamon Cider and Petal Pink. So then I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment. I'm going to use the same one as before, Hope You Have the Best Birthday, onto a piece of basic black cardstock. So I'm just stamping it in Versamark ink, and then I'm going to sprinkle on some white embossing powder. So I'm just going to go and cut that down. So there's my little sentiment piece, and I'm just going to pop that on some dimensionals. So there's our second card finished. Then for our third card, I'm going to use this paper. So I've got an A6 card blank, and I've cut this piece to be the same size as the front of my card blank. And this piece of black measures 3.5 inches by 5.25 inches, and this piece of basic white cardstock is just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so you get this really thin black border around the outside. So that will go like that on the top. And then these papers have been made for kind of printing on with the stamps. So I'm going to use some of the stamps just to add a bit of detail to the papers. And these don't fit exactly on top of the flowers. They're just there to add like an extra bit of kind of detail. So then I'm going to cut out this with my scissors. I'm just really roughly cutting it out. It's obviously not a precise image anyway, so I don't need to worry too much about it. So I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment again on some black cardstock. So I'm going to do the same as before. I'm going to heat emboss it in white. So let's layer this up then. So on the sentiment, I'm just going to put a dimensional that end and some glue this end. So I want it to lie flat against the flowers. And there's our finished card. So I'm really pleased with that. So for this next card, I've got an A6 basic white card blank. I've then got a piece of the spotty paper that fits on that card front. Then I've got a piece of basic black cardstock that is the same width as my card front. And I'm just going to glue. I've just got some strips of cardstock, all different sizes. So this piece is Pool Party. And I'm just going to glue them all so that there's a bit of black peeking out between them, and then I'm going to trim them afterwards. So this is Fresh Freesia. So these are all the colours that are in the paper pack. You can always find on the back of our paper packs the colours that are in them. They're always written on the back. So that's the really good thing. That's probably I think the best thing about the Stampin' Up stuff is that they always use the same colours. So the same colours are in their papers, their cardstock, their inks, the pens, so everything coordinates. So you know if you're using a certain paper, then you'll have all the cardstock and inks and stuff that will go exactly with it, rather than having to kind of like search around for something that you think might go and then the colour's not quite right because it's like look different on screen to when you got it, all that kind of thing. You know that if you use the colours that are pulled the same, then you will get the right outcome. Right, so I'm just going to go and trim that off, and I'm going to trim that piece of black down as well. And that's going to sit across there. Then I'm going to stamp my bird on here, and then I'm going to stamp this Hello Friend as well. So I stamp both of those in Memento black ink, and then I'm going to use the same colours as I've been using all morning to colour the bird. So that's the cinnamon cider, the petal pink, granny apple green, and then I'll use just a little bit of saffron in the centre of the flowers as well. So then I'm going to use my scissors to cut out both the bird and the sentiment. So then let's layer up our card. I'm just going to use this little bit of the outside to put the friend up on dimensionals, because it's like a little bit thinner. So I'm going to put a little bit just on the F there, and then a little bit on here. That's that one completed. And for our final card, I've got a 5x5 inch square basic white card blank and a 4 3/4 inch piece of this card. And glue that onto the card front. So then I'm going to take my layering circles dies. You can see you get 16 dies in a set of layering circles, and you get the straight edge ones and you get the scalloped edge ones. I'm going to use one of the straight edge ones, and I'm going to cut a circle through the front to make an aperture. So I'm going to go through this piece and the front piece. And make sure you put it through like this so that you don't cut through the back as well. Then I've stamped my bird through the hole, so I'm just going to colour that in. I'm just using these same colours on all of them, so that if you don't have a really big range of markers, then you can see you can make lots of different cards with just a few different colours. So then I'm just going to stamp some flowers, and I'm also going to stamp these little flowers on some spare basic white cardstock. I'm going to colour those in to coordinate with the others. And let's cut those out. So then I'm going to go back to the Hope You Have the Best Birthday, and I'm going to heat emboss that in black again. Sorry, I'm going to heat emboss that on black in white embossing powder. So then that can go on there. So I'm going to pop all these things on. Let's use my dimensionals, and I'm just going to pop some on here. Let's just pop one on the bottom back of there as well. And then I'm just going to put a couple on this side of the sentiment. So I want it to hang out into the aperture, so I don't want to put them all the way along. And then there we go, there's my final card complete. So let's bring in the rest of my cards. So those are all of our cards from today's video. I really hope you enjoyed my tutorial today. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press the subscribe button if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new YouTube video available. All of the products that I've used for today's video are listed in the description below, and there's also a host code there, so if you pop the host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.